I'm reading more and more people that are under 30 years old are using the closed caption when they're streaming something.
I can see. I think my daughter uses it like
For
all
real?
the time.
I can't. It's a distraction for me.
Really?
Yeah. If I'm reading what's on the screen, I'm missing what's in front of me.
Oh, no. I use it all the time.
Really?
Well, especially I watch a lot of like British TV shows like the Great British Baking Show.
So you can't understand what they're saying?
Sometimes if they're from Northern England, it's that Cockney accent.
Strong accent.
Really strong. I need closed captioning.
I can see it in that case. But when I'm just watching something that I understand, I don't use it.
I feel like I learn from it because I think I know what they're saying, and if I use the closed captioning, I'm like, oh, that's what they said, and I didn't understand it because I don't know
Both
the word.
Ninja and Jake are under 30. I'm so curious about you guys in the closed captioning.
Well, I could take it or leave it. I'm used to it now because my husband prefers it, and so I kind of just forget that it's there.
Okay, so you ignore it.
Yeah.
You don't read it. All right, Jake.
So being a cinema lover already and being kind of an anime nerd, I'm used to subtitles. So, I mean, it's okay.
You're used to it.
Yeah.
Do you use it?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes it just comes with the movie or the show that I'm watching.
Okay.
Like automatically.
So I have to go back. Ninja, why does he need it? Why does your husband need it?
He actually is hard of hearing.
Okay, so that helps him.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
It's really funny at the movie theater. He's like, I really wish they had closed captions.
Right?
So they're doing it there, right? Scott's dad, I think, uses this.
Yeah, and I'm like you, Rob. It distracts me.
It does, doesn't it?
I can't handle it. But my dad's in his 70s, and he says it's gotten to the point where he can't really understand a lot of the dialogue, and so it's on 24/7 for him. Anytime he watches anything, he has the captions on.
That makes sense. So he can hear, since he can't hear it well.
But it makes sense. I wonder why movies don't have it. I wonder why. Like it should be some sort of an option. And I don't know how
do you make that an option?
I don't know. Maybe they're like, so movie theaters are doing some things like sensory rooms and they're doing, different things like that. And if they can offer it in 3D, which I hate, then they could probably do one that was closed captioning.
Which you hate. You hate 3D?
Oh my goodness gracious. I don't like roller coasters, and I put those two things in the same sort of category.
Wow.
Because I get nauseated.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
Just got an open mic in from the My HISRadio app, which, by the way, you can download the app anytime for free, Google Play and the App Store. But you'll notice on the app there is an open mic that you can record any comment on. Here's an open mic that just came in.
Hey, good morning, Rob and Lizz. I was just going to let y'all know that I actually work at a theater, and we actually have closed caption glasses that people can borrow to, make the experience a little better for them.
Okay, that's really, really interesting. Was mentioning closed captioning a little bit earlier because people under 30 seem to be using it. It's like it's not in theaters, and yet she says it is with glasses at hers.
Well, Rachel also is talking about being at movie theaters. She texted in and said, next time you're in a theater, look behind you, and you're going to notice a closed captioning on a screen, but it's backward. So what the movie theater then does is give you a mirror, and it's on a stand, and you put it beside you so it transposes it. It mirrors it, but transposes it so it's right for you as you're looking at the mirror. I've never heard of these things.
That would distract me, but I guess some people would use it.
If you are hard of hearing or you just need, that closed captioning, like we're talking about, just so you maybe exactly know what they're saying and not just trying to make it up, then.
Yeah, but if I had like a glass in front of me and then I'm not looking at the movie screen, which is what I was there for in the first place, to experience the movie in the theater. If I'm going to spend the bucks to go to a theater to watch a movie, I want to make sure I can see it.
Right.
Not be distracted by looking down at some kind of mirror. I'm sure there's a way that they're doing it so it doesn't do that, but I can't visualize it in my head.
Maybe the mirror's right in your line of sight. Almost like closed captioning is on the screen.
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe if it's right there.
The glasses idea.
That's cool.
From the open mic, I really like that. Pat's here at 800-447-7234 about closed caption.
Wanted to make a comment about the closed captioning. I like to have the closed captioning on a lot of the time, but especially if I'm watching the series The Chosen, because there's a lot of Jewish or Hebrew in it, and sometimes I can't understand the words that they say or the words that they're saying. I'm like, what did he say? But if I have closed captioning on, I'm like, oh, that's a Jewish word. And they have it down there, whatever the Jewish word is. I'm like, oh, and I've learned so much by doing that.
You do. And, if you see it, then you can look it up, and then you can see the definition, and it brings it to a different level.
Yes. So sometimes it's irritating, and so I turn it off. But on certain things like that, it's beneficial.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
I don't know how to dress at work anymore. I really do not.
What do you mean?
So when I go into the office and, Brian and Harlan from Afternoons, Brian and Harlan are in there. Ninja shares an office as well. And I am burning up. I am literally breaking out in a sweat.
She's the only one, too, because the rest of them have hoodies on.
Hoodies. And they're like, I'm freezing. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, stop whining.
Just because Liz is having her personal summer does not mean that it's not cold.
I am not having a personal
The rest of them have
summer.
hoodies on.
So
Listen,
are they having personal winters? Yes.
When I go into their suite, I do see it.
You do. They and I keep a wrap because I have been chilly, when others have been in there like a while ago, and so I still have a wrap in there. Harlan always, can I use your wrap? I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and that's because Liz is having a personal summer.
I'm not having a personal summer. Thank you very much.
She is.
I am
not. I mean,
not.
Scott, what is it? You're cold or hot?
It depends. In the office, I usually like it really cold, but now if I'm home, my wife will freeze me out.
See that?
Why do you like it so
It's
cold in
different.
the office? But
I don't
not
know.
at
There's
home.
something about the office environment. I just like the cold air.
See?
But when I get home, my wife is just like got the air going full blast, and especially at night, she likes it really cold to sleep in. So I get cold at home.
I like it really cold to sleep in, and that way you can layer the blankets and feel all cozy.
And that's interesting, the difference between office and home.
It is. It really
See,
is.
Scott likes it cold here. He's one of the ones that'll put the hoodie on. And then at home, it's like, no, you're freezing me, sweetheart.
But maybe she likes it so much colder at home than
Okay,
the office is set.
so it's around 71 here. What is it at home, Scott?
Well, at night, it's 67.
Yeah.
And we
Okay.
usually try to keep it in the low 70s, 73 or 4 during the day. But at night, she cranks it up.
See, my wife likes it 78. And then I have to sneak
Wait a minute. I
and
need some
turn
more.
it down when I'm not able to sleep.
You're listening to Rob and Lizz in the morning.
His radio.
Talking about the thermostat because there's a difference between what it's like where you're at work and what it's like at home. 800-447-7234.
Okay, so I know that one of the offices that I used to work in kept it so cold, comfortable for me, but for some of the ladies, they had little space heaters at their desks. Well, one of the ladies left their space heater on all night, like forgot to turn it off at the end of the day, completely melted the trash can.
Really? This
Yes.
is where you used to work?
Where I used to work, not here.
What?
And melted the whole trash can. And I mean, that could have been a bigger problem, obviously, but thankfully nothing happened. But I'm like, oh my goodness. So that space heater,
Wow.
gotta watch it.
Ninja was saying that you have how many fans going at home?
We have 2 going on in the bedroom because the thermostat, we don't touch it. It just stays at 72.
Ugh.
And so at night when we go to bed, we have a ceiling fan going and then just like a standing up fan going.
Is it to cool off or is it for white noise?
Kind of both.
Okay, because I need the white noise. I have a fan blowing right on me.
I would need a tray of ice up under me to sleep in
A tray
72.
of ice.
Something.
It is kind of warm. Marie is here at 800-447-7234. You and your son keep it at what?
We like it at 62, but when everybody comes over, we need to have the space heaters come out, and we need to have foot blankets because everybody freezes.
It's so cold in your house. I love that it's 62. I could sleep there.
I know we're just hot boxes, and I don't know. And then at work, it's 74, and all the ladies are like, "Oh my God, it's freezing in here," and I'm like, "Really?"
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
I saw something interesting at Wlamart the other day. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio. Here's the thing. I don't go out to stores a lot. My wife does that. She goes off to Walmart. She goes off to the grocery store. She's at Publix. I mean, she's at all these places, and I'm rarely there. So I noticed when I was there the other day that they're selling tiny homes.
Yeah, in a
at
kit.
Walmart. Yeah, it's like a home kit. You can do it yourself. It's $10,000, and they have like a $3,300 home kit, personalized kind of thing for a tiny home at Walmart. I never would have thought. Go to Walmart, buy a tiny home.
Well,
but it sounds like it's cheap enough, $10,000, but you don't have the plot of land.
Well, you don't have the plot of land. It doesn't include the floor, and it doesn't include, I think, the shingles for the roof. But at the same time, if you put those two things, I mean, it's how big? 175, 200 square feet, something like that.
Yeah.
Not going to take a whole lot of flooring.
I've been thinking a lot about a tiny home lately because my wife and I have had this goal and dream in the retirement days to get an RV and travel the country.
And
But
have some place to come back to.
Yeah, but I still would like some room. I don't want to be in a tiny home. But I'm also thinking, I love the mountains and I love the lake and seeing, the valley and all that stuff. And so I'm thinking, I wonder if you can get a tiny home because some of them you can travel with, but have some plots of land at different places.
I didn't think
that requires a lot of money, but still.
It does.
That'd be a neat thing if I could ever afford that.
That is a very good idea. I never thought tiny home will travel. I never thought about that.
Well, they have a hitch and everything, so why not?
Makes sense. See, I have thought about one for my mom and, maybe moving her on our property, and she still has her independence.
In a tiny home on your property.
Tiny home, yes.
Okay.
And yet she's close enough so that if, she were to fall or if anything were to happen, then I'm right there.
You're there.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's a little better than a mother-in-law suite that's attached.
Right.
Because she has her own space. She can leave.
Privacy.
That is nice.
Yeah. Well, Jennifer texted. And she said that she actually lives in a tiny home, and she has a daughter who's 19 who's special needs. And she said she requires full-time care, but she and her service dog live with Jennifer in a tiny home.
For real?
Yeah. Said she, gets that constant supervision, and she's never more than just a couple of feet away.
They're always together.
She said sometimes it's a little overwhelming because we're up under, each other's feet, but it works for what we need.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
This is a very interesting trend right now. It has to do with Sprite and something else. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio. Listen to this, and then we'll give you some context. Just hang on a second.
I think it's dark enough, and I'm just going to go ahead on and try it.
That's the Sprite opening up.
Oh, I'm glad I got. All right. Resume. Y'all seen what happened.
Okay, here's what's happening here, all right? As she said, resume.
It's on.
I like how she did that, resume, because she kept pausing everything.
Yes.
So this is a bottle of Sprite that she has on her social, and she put a tea bag in it.
It's so weird to me. But it's a thing. It's like a viral TikTok. People are putting tea bags in their Sprite, mixing them together.
Okay, so let's go back to where she said, resume.
All right. Resume.
Resume.
Y'all seen what happened.
Okay. So now she's going to take a sip of this, and
wow.
She likes it.
She does seem to like it. And when I first saw it, I was like, is it like unsweetened? Then I thought, okay, doofus. Like, it's got sugar in it. What?
Yeah, it's Sprite.
But it makes sense to me. If you get unsweetened or sweet tea, a lot of times you'll put lemon in it.
A lemon or a lime, right? Yeah.
So Sprite is lemon lime, so it's best of both worlds. But I wonder how long you have to let it steep in there. And
what's a Snapple? Is Snapple carbonated or
No,
not?
no.
It's not. Okay, so
Not
I
that I
can't liken
remember.
it to a Snapple.
No.
I feel like there is a carbonated tea somewhere. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
I think I'm
one.
wrong.
So maybe this is the twist on it, is the carbonation, I guess.
Yeah,
Then-
and it makes sense, like Liz is saying, to put it in a Sprite because of the whole lemon lime thing.
Yeah. Like you wouldn't necessarily put it down in a Coke Zero or.
Oh, right.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Adrian and Dan, they were getting in cahoots with each other. They were scheming. So this was going on right after summer vacation Bible school when all the kiddos overtook their church. And they thought, you know what? I think we can do a VBS, maybe even through the entire year, but not for the kiddos, for the elderly that go to our church. And so they did. They went to like the pastor and, everybody in charge at the church and talked it out. And they had Vacation Bible School for the elderly.
No way.
Yeah, so like their Happy Hearts, community that's there in the church. They colored. Of course, they had meals and they had a snack. They had entertainment. They learned songs.
It was just for them.
It was just for the elderly. And I love this. The two oldest that came to Vacation Bible School, and they had 72 people that signed up for VBS. The two oldest were 100 and 103.
Oh, that's great.
So, I mean, think about it. Otherwise, those hours would have been spent maybe, at their nursing home or in their room or whatever the case is.
I hope they had water balloons.
Right.
They had those food fights.
You know what?
Right.
They probably
the
did.
bounce houses.
I don't know
all
about
that stuff.
I don't know about the bounce houses.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Wonder what time you got to get up in the morning to get to this thing.
Well, it's a 4-day event that happens in the middle of August, and it was the brainchild of Mike. And Mike's thinking there's all these interstates that people are driving on, that they're not seeing any of the small roads. And so he thought, how about a yard sale? And he's thinking, how about a yard sale that stretches all of US 127 from Michigan to Alabama?
That's a couple of miles right there.
It sounds like a huge thing to organize, and it was. And it started in 1987. It's been happening every year since in the middle of August. They just had this. I never heard of this before.
Me either.
And it's huge. I mean, it's literally people plan a 4-day trip with hotels and lodging and where they're going to eat and all this stuff. There's a website for it, 127yardsale.com. And you should see all the different places and vendors to go. It's not like everybody's house is a yard sale, but they go to like school parking lots and big empty fields and all these vendors set up. And it's a huge thing. And it's a 4-day event, so you can literally drive all of 127 from Alabama to Michigan or Michigan to Alabama and all points in between to participate in this huge yard sale. You got to get a big U-Haul if you're going to participate in all of it.
I would think. And really carve out that time. I know people that absolutely plan, like if there's a community yard sale, maybe 30 houses or something taking part, and they will plan it out. I'm going to start on this street at this time and then go over here. And then there's early birds that get there while the people are still sleeping.
The thing about this, too, is that all the people that have the opportunity to sell at this thing, too. So there are vendors and then people in the community that go and have this big yard sale. It's US 127. It's 655 miles or something like that.
It'd have to be if it's Michigan to Alabama, but I wonder because I've never heard of it, and it's been going on
since 1987.
Since the 80s. Certainly, somebody has been.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Finally, at Wendy's, they have pumpkin frosties. Oh, the delight that are in hearts today.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, you ask Scott. Ask Scott. Scott loves the Frosty.
I do, and I'm so excited. I feel like I'm as excited about the pumpkin spice Frosty as people are when the PSL comes out.
See?
So I'm really ramped up for it.
There are fans. It goes well with the loaded baked potato at Wendy's.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like actual pumpkin that's pureed and then put in this Frosty, because if not, it's going to be artificial.
Okay.
That's
I
just
hope so. That's my fear, is that it's going to have that awful artificial taste. So hopefully they're using the real thing.
So maybe you don't want a Frosty at this time of morning. But they do also, they're doing like a pumpkin cold brew, which I don't like cold coffee. I don't like iced coffee and cold brew.
Oh, Liz has not lived until she's tried an iced coffee.
Oh, I've tried it. Not liking it.
It's just not the right one.
Which one should I try?
The pumpkin one at Wendy's.
No!
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Rob and Lizz in the morning, where you could win $100 a week for an entire year for gas or groceries. This is courtesy of Gilstrap Family Dealerships. You could literally win this, and this is just about 3 weeks away for you to get that opportunity to win.
I mean, $100 a week for an entire year. Fill up a couple of gas tanks. Or you could fill up your gas tank and your tummy tank, because it's $100 a week for an entire year. It means vacations maybe. It's pretty awesome. And it's super easy to get in on. You can pre-register even right now.
It's the first day fill up. And the reason why we call it the first day is because this is going to be given away on the first day of Share-a-thon at His Radio, where your gift of support is going to help support and reach out with the love of Christ to so many people who need it. So if you do that right now at hisradio.com to give your gift or the My His Radio app, you'll automatically be registered to win $100 a week for an entire year with a first day fill up.
Yeah, and you can do it right now. Just text the word Phil to 800-447-7234. We'll send you a link right back, or just hop online, hisradio.com.